Hi, welcome to Your Health Matters. I'm Scott Kern. Did you know by 2030 we're going to have over 72 million senior citizens? That's a silver tsunami coming for us. And there's a lot of different ways we can learn to age gracefully. And today we have a great guest, Theresa Ojala, who's going to help us learn about this and tell us about the class she's putting on here at the Wellness Center. So stick around, it'll be a great show. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Your Health Matters. I'm Scott Kern. Today my guest is Theresa Ojala, our director of our emergency department. Theresa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So you've been at the hospital just
10
over
months.
10 months now, not even a year. So you're
Right.
coming up this summer.
That's
Where
right.
are you from originally?
I'm originally from Wisconsin, and in particular the Madison area. Madison is the capital of the state. I grew up in Wisconsin Dells, a community of about 2,000, and that number grew to about 200,000 in the summertime because we were quite a tourist area. So very early on, I had lots of opportunities to interact with people from all over the place and learn good customer service as a teenager.
Absolutely.
Already.
So now that I'm a local, I was born and raised in Kingman, so I have to ask this question to everyone that's been here within less than a year. How'd you find us? What do you think about Kingman so far? Are you adjusting okay, especially the hospital?
Adjusting very well. And a lot of people have already heard this story because they do ask, how is it that you landed in Kingman?
A lot of people, that's a
Right.
valid question to a lot of people. I get that.
So my husband and I were looking for where to vacation in Southwest America. And the more we looked online, the more I said, geez, you'd almost have to live there. And he said, start looking.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And I didn't, but the phone rang and it was a recruiter for Kingman. And I sit here before you because the interviews went well and we enjoyed the community, and the job is very similar to what I've done. I have 21 years in emergency medicine.
Wow.
I started as a EMT in the field, which naturally led me to consider nursing, and then naturally slipped right into emergency medicine. I spent 10 years on the floor as a staff nurse, and about that time of my 10-year anniversary, we had a clinical manager, a director of the department who was leaving effective immediately, and the staff were asked to identify a team member from within who fit the criteria, the qualities of a leader. And I was unanimously asked by my colleagues to step up, and never saw myself in a leadership role, so just took that as a bigger message. And I've been in management ever since.
So the moral of this story is when opportunity calls, pick up the phone.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a great story to end up here.
Yeah.
So you've been here at the hospital about 10 months.
Yes.
You're getting the emergency department rocking and rolling because we're growing, we're staying fast-paced.
Right.
And in your spare time, not that you have a lot, you've also got this program you're starting with the Wellness Center about conscious aging.
Right.
So what is conscious aging? Let's talk about this, because this is a topic that's going to be huge for this community, because we're an aging community, obviously.
We are definitely.
So start me off from square one on conscious aging.
Ooh,
how did you come across this? And
it might be easier to talk about how I came across it. So not only do I do this full time, but as I said, that I'm trying to build a consulting business on the side where I do personal retreats or just programming to speak to a wider group of individuals in the community on all sorts of things that kind of relate to mind, body, spirit. Part of what I have been blessed with in my career is when I was finishing up my bachelor's for my nursing degree, I had to take an elective course, and that course was parish nursing. And about the time I finished that, the president of the organization I was at the time was talking about starting a parish nurse program, and I thought, oh, I'll just go up and tell him I'd be a good resource for you. I just took this program. I did that, and within short order, he said, would you be the coordinator for our program? So I developed the parish nurse program for that organization at the time, and I also, for a sister hospital, took that on. And basically, that's a hospital-based nurse who then is affiliated with a parish or a religious organization in the community. And so I got to do a whole different approach to nursing and be with community members and start to look at them holistically. In the emergency department, obviously, we're more about the physical because, we're there to take care of their immediate needs. However, parish nursing looks more at the whole person, the mind, body, spirit, and so I started delving into more and more of that sort of work. And I've continued that. And that's continued to sort of, tap me on the shoulder. And so over time, I took a class in 2010, and I became a life cycle celebrant. What the heck is that?
Let me say a life cycle celebrant.
Correct.
So someone who celebrates the life cycle.
Right,
Okay.
in whatever format. So in my training, I specifically took the track for weddings. So I became an ordained minister to be able to perform weddings. So I've done probably a dozen of those. And I'm also able to perform funerals, baby blessings, divorces, retire, you name it, the whole life cycle of celebration. So given that, I listen to a lot of webcasts, I read a lot, and I was on a telesummit for aging, and Kathleen Erickson Freeman, who is the program manager for the elder education at IANS Institute, was one of the presenters, and she told me about this program that they developed. And I just could hardly stand my skin. I thought, this is perfect.
This is what you
we
want.
we are on the cusp of what you've already termed as the silver tsunami, and that we have more and more people aging, and in a youth-obsessed culture. So how do we balance that? How do we be okay with aging when all of the media and everything that we see and hear is about being young and vibrant and never growing old? And it's inevitable.
So you discovered this program, you've become certified in this program, and as you got settled here in the hospital, you approached our wellness center
I did.
about putting on this program, which is a great opportunity. So we just started ramping up promotions for this. So
That's
when is the
correct.
first class?
The first class is July 7th, and it's going to be an 8-week course, and it'll be 2 hours a week on Tuesday evening from 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. It'll be in the Wellness Center conference room. We do have the flyers out. I'm really appreciated the opportunity to come on this program to be able to
Absolutely.
even get it more widely known. The Wellness Center was one of the first recommendations for people who were going to take this program and become a facilitator. And the hospital, the Wellness Center, perfect, not to mention the aging facilities in town, if there's a senior center or the VA clinic, for instance. I mean, the sky's the limit as to where you can connect with people and bring this programming to them.
So where can they sign up for this program, and what's the cost?
In order to get this out to the community and really make it affordable for individuals, it's just a $20 fee, which basically covers the book and a little bit, a very small part of my time. So it's $20 for the Wellness Center members,
Okay.
$25 for someone from the general
Okay.
community.
So $25 essentially for an 8-week course.
Yes.
2 hours every Tuesday.
And there's a book. And the types of things that we do, Scott, are there's large group learning and sharing. There are small group sharing. There's meditation. There's a lot of self-reflection and a lot of writing. And just asking the questions that we don't think of or we don't choose to sit around the coffee table and talk about
Absolutely.
without somebody sort of facilitating that. So what I love about this program is I am not the expert, not by far.
No one's an expert at aging.
Right.
It happens.
I'm just somebody who's passionate about helping people. I've been passionate. I got into nursing because I was my mother's right arm. I was the oldest daughter of 10 children. So right from the get-go, I was taking care of people. And so it's just really been very cellular for me.
It's been a natural progression for you.
Right. And I just want to help people live the best lives they can. And so this just fit perfectly, and at a time in my life when I am a baby boomer. I am on the younger side, but I'm one of you baby boomers.
So
not you personally.
Don't call me part of that generation. I still can't figure out what my generation is.
As soon as that came out of my mouth, I knew but I'm one of the people who are in the second half of my life, or even the third quarter, or third of my life.
However
as
you want to
people,
phrase it.
Yeah, however you want to slice that piece of pie.
Yeah.
But so because I have that passion for it, I have a passion for facilitating and educating people. It was just perfect.
Well, what's cool about this is, I don't know, maybe cool's not the word, but like you said, this is a lot of hard topics for people to have to ask themselves. And sometimes they don't want to ask those questions. You just think, well, you know what, I don't want to deal with that right now. I'll push it off, I'll deal with it later, and you just keep pushing it off. And this is a way for people to actually sit down and not by themselves, with their peers, and figure out how these questions can be answered, if they can be answered, or at least come to terms with. With conscious aging.
Yes, so I can just share with you some of the session topics, because I think people are going to want to know what those are, and I'm going to reference my form here. There'll be an introduction to conscious aging, because there's been a lot of research and study around that, and so it's important for people to know what exactly that means. Self-compassion, and I think that we beat ourselves up a lot. We carry a lot of baggage. We have a lot of fear about aging. And so there's a whole session on self-compassion. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of my most favorite things to talk about. I was sharing earlier today with another individual I was talking to, because we were talking about forgiveness and resentment. And I said my favorite phrase about resentment is that it's like you drink the poison and you wait for the other person to die.
That's true.
So that's some of the work that's going to be happening here. A life review, transformative practices, death makes life possible. You hadn't thought about that before.
No.
Surrender, letting go, and then creating a new vision in aging. So those are the 8 topics, and they will be very, very deeply vetted out in the community with the group.
with the group. These are a lot of great topics that people don't really, I guess, want to tackle necessarily, but it's a good, topic, and it's a good thought process to get into your head.
Right.
We're gonna take a short commercial break and come back, and we're gonna dive more into these topics and find out more about this workshop. It's a great opportunity for the public, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Conversations, but I bet you if I could sit down and inject one question out of a program like this, it would be an entirely different conversation.
Hi, welcome back to Your Health Matters. I'm Scott Kern. Today we've got a great guest. We've got Theresa Ojala. They're our director of our emergency department, who's also working with the Wellness Center to start a new conscious aging program, which starts in July. Here at the Wellness Center. It's a great program. Just to give everyone a recap, it's $25 for non-members, $20 for members of the Wellness Center. It's every Tuesday night from 5 to 7, correct me if I'm wrong, and it covers 8 different subjects, one different subject a week, for 2 hours a night, to kind of help everyone age, I don't say gracefully, but kind of accept the fact that no matter what, we're getting older, and we can either choose to fight it or we can accept it and we can grow from it.
Right.
So it's kind of a cool thing to be a part of the Wellness Center, because so many people think the Wellness Center is just physical health and whatnot, and you're giving us a program that lends itself toward emotional and mental health, which is it's great.
And I talked with Don Willis, who's the director there, and just to understand the demographics of the Wellness Center. And I don't know if people realize that there's over 2,000 members.
Oh yeah.
And the majority of those members are already the baby boomers. I will tell you that. I wish I had my numbers here as far as the breakdown of those from 40 to 50 and 50 to 60 and so on and so forth. We have at least a couple handfuls of people in their 90s who are members of the Wellness Center.
That's not surprising. If you try to get a parking spot in the Wellness Center on a Monday afternoon, it's full. I mean, these guys are retired and they spend a lot of time there, so it's a great opportunity to have this class.
Exactly, and so it's a captured audience, if you will, and even though it's primarily focused on the physical there are classes like yoga that also speak to the kind of the intellect and the spiritual. And there has been historically not the greatest response to classes that aren't physical, but I think we're going to change that.
I think so.
I think that this program is going to really help people appreciate the whole mind, body, spirit experience and how it comes from the Wellness Center as a really great program.
It's a great program, and the price is right. It's to make this thing work and work well. You're doing it the right way. You're growing it, from the ground up. And I think once people catch on to this and they see how it's going to go and how it can help them, I mean, just the word of mouth should be fantastic. I think it's a great opportunity for the people of Kingman and our surrounding areas
Yes,
too,
right.
to take part in this, because, like I said, we can't stop aging, no matter what. That's the only thing that's going to keep going on in
That's
life.
right. That's right.
So, let's get back to some of the topics you're going to talk about. I know you mentioned resentment, but I mean, is there one like you really can't wait to stick your teeth into, or is there?
Well, my favorite subject is forgiveness. I think that I've done enough reading and research on forgiveness in my life, and I've done my own personal work, that the freedom from needing to forgive somebody has been one of the best blessings of my life. And so I just every day feel like I'm in a better place because I'm not carrying around that extra weight. And forgiveness, we think is about the other person, but it's really about us. And the sooner that you can kind of get a hold of that and work through some of the issues that you might have around forgiveness, whether that's yourself or other people, the sooner you'll be healthier just in general.
Absolutely. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. That doesn't matter with age.
It doesn't.
I think everyone just struggles with an issue like forgiveness.
Yeah. And I think if you think about a person's life, if they're in their last moments, I think many times it's about why didn't I forgive, or why didn't I have that opportunity to make good on that relationship? And,
That's true.
And to be able to just leave this plane with a clear conscience from that, I think is extraordinary.
Which brings me to my next question on this, and one I probably should have asked earlier. Is there an age, like minimum or age maximum you can join, that you should be a part of this, or is this for everyone that wants to learn?
I would prefer to think it's for anyone who wants to learn. Initially, I might have had a number around that, as far as maybe you're over 40 or you're over 50, but think about individuals. More and more these days, adult children are having to manage taking care of their parents in their older years.
That's true.
Most of us don't want to spend our time in a nursing home. Most of us want to feel like we continue to give and be part of the community and part of the family. And so many are having to take care of their parents at home. And so this might be a good way for adult children of parents they're caring for to sort of get a different perspective of their parent and have more appreciation for them, as opposed to it being maybe burdensome.
Absolutely.
Beyond what it needs to be. Where if you understand more about where they've been and what their struggles have been, and how they can leave a legacy, not only within the family or their own relationship, but even the wider community.
Yeah, and that's a great point. It's it really is. You can't put an age on this or a concrete number,
Right.
because anyone can really benefit from this. It doesn't matter
Exactly.
What the age range is, and I guess that's the neat part to this whole program.
Or what your profession is, or what I just think the sky's the limit on this.
Yeah. So your certifications, did you have to get certified?
I did. I had to do an online test after reading through the facilitator guide. And mostly, I've facilitated many programs in my 20-some years, but it was just getting down in the actual content.
Yeah, the crux of
Yes,
the content,
yes.
the information.
And again, I'm not going to be the expert. I bring a lot to my role as a facilitator because I do a lot of reading, and I will continue to now, especially since this is going to
this is
take
your baby.
off. This is my baby. Yeah.
You've got to roll with this now.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So I'll be continuing to study it and make it more a part of what I do. So it wasn't too intense, but yet I was just grateful for the opportunity, and that it wasn't a 9-month program or something else that would have taken some time. But
So you have the certifications to do it,
I do.
and that makes that gives people hopefully
Gives me some
ease of mind, knowing that you've done you've taken the time, you've done the research, you've gone through the course process, and I mean you know what you're talking about, and that's the important thing.
Right. And I'm committed.
And you're committed. That's the other important
I'm really,
thing.
really committed, and they made that very clear, that the most important thing that people are going to take away from this is my commitment to it. And So I
Yeah.
want people to know that I am.
And it gives people an opportunity to know that we're all in this together.
We are all in this together.
At the end of
There's
the day.
no, I say that this is one of my other favorite lines. We're not getting out of here alive. So,
No, we're not. You might as well enjoy it.
Might as well make
You know,
the best
the
of
more
it.
friends you can make, and the more experiences you can share and learn from
Right,
people, I think
right.
I think is a great opportunity.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and this is another avenue. Like I've said it again, and I'll say it again and again. This is a great avenue
Mm-hmm.
for people to sit and not necessarily ask themselves the questions. Maybe it's easier for them to ask someone else that same question that they've been wanting to ask themselves,
Right.
but they can't, and it helps them come to their own answers.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows there's a lot of questions in there that I probably have to ask myself, but I'm going to do that later.
Right.
You know, in my 40s or 50s, I'll take the class then, if not sooner.
Almost on a daily basis, I get the luxury of observing people. And one of the things that I observe regularly is these small groups that meet in the cafeteria at the hospital.
Our morning coffee drinkers.
And I'm sure they have great conversations, but I bet you if I could sit down and inject one question out of a program like this, it would be an entirely different conversation and get them thinking about things way outside their scope of
Absolutely.
of comfort or a number of other things.
You know, and I could speak to that too. You know, I look back at my circle of my social circles and whatever else, and the conversations we had 10 years ago in my mid-20s versus, my 30s now
Yeah.
are completely night and day. And now you tend to ask yourself and answer the harder questions in groups because you're not the only one going through those situations.
Right. And this is a very safe place. We set ground rules. It's safe. It's non-judgmental. I want to say too that it's non-denominational, so there isn't any religiosity to this. It's really just being wholeheartedly open and honest with each other about what's deep within us and how we can use each other to grow by sharing wisdom and reduce some of the self-limiting concepts that we have and learn to be more self-compassionate, discover what's given meaning and heart to our lives. And the final one is kind of nice because it really helps you set up sort of your legacy and thinking more about that than just...
Yeah, that's really neat. But so let's go over the pertinence again. It starts July 7th, Tuesday night, July 7th, from 5 to 7, and it's every Tuesday for 8 weeks starting then.
Correct.
And it's $25 for non-members, $20 for members of the Wellness Center.
Correct, and the sign-up is at the Wellness Center.
So it is at the Wellness Center. So if you want information, you need to stop by the Wellness Center.
Correct.
And just ask about the conscious aging workshops.
There's flyers in the entryway there, and the registration form is also there. And that's
Perfect.
who the registration form goes to, is the personnel at the front desk.
Perfect. And is there a limit to the size of the class?
Well, in my preparation of becoming a facilitator, I could fill the room with 100 people. I'd like to be a little more manageable with the first course. The room that we have, I think, will nicely hold 10 small tables to accommodate maybe 40. The small group work really needs to be at a table about this size with 4 of us. And that's within the context of the larger group. So I would be thrilled if I got anywhere close to 40. So you roll these programs out, you don't know if...
You got to kind of throw it at the wall and see what sticks and kind of grow it from there. We know that firsthand here at the hospital. Sometimes it takes a while to get the ball rolling, but once you get going, man, it's an avalanche.
Yeah.
It's good.
Right.
So there's a lot of good things coming with this program. And
Thank you.
you're doing this on top of running the emergency department,
That's
which
correct.
is one of our busiest departments, if not the busiest department in the hospital.
That's correct.
So let's kind of circle back to that for a second. Was it chaos when you came here? Was it like, have you always been in the ER, an ER director?
Yes,
or?
well, I've always been in the ER. I spent 10 years as a floor nurse, and again, I spent 10 years as a EMT, so the precursor to the emergency department. And this is my 11th year as a director. This is the 3rd department that I've been
In charge of?
And this is by far the busiest of the 3. However, we saw about the same amount of patients at my last place, but on an annual basis. But we average about 150 patients every single day, and I don't know that the community realizes that.
No, they don't, and that's a big number. It's a
Right.
substantial number.
It is.
When you average that out for the entire year. You guys
Right.
are active.
So
How many nurses or medical professionals do you have on staff at any given time?
Boy, I don't do the scheduling, so I'm not the best one to answer that, but enough to cover what we know what our volumes are on the bell curve.
Okay.
And every bell curve across every
little bit
ED across
different?
the nation, no, pretty much the same
Oh.
as far as hours of the day. And so we staff accordingly. We do have the luxury of being a ED residency program for physicians. So not only are the attendings there, but we have the residencies who are year one through 4 who work side by side with the attendings and help us get through those large volumes of patients.
So we have the help here. So
We have
if
the
it's an
help.
emergency, we got the place to be.
We do.
Theresa, I want to say thank you for coming on the show today. You've got a great program, this Conscious Aging, and thanks for watching Your Health Matters. We'll be back next time with another great topic.